going to show you how I made this gorgeous centerpiece for my wedding, completely DIY with pretty much no experience. In case you don't know me, my name is Zoe and I am getting married. I'm a little over 2 months away from my wedding and I did decide to DIY my wedding centerpieces. I just started a little bit early, I guess, because I wanted to make sure I liked it and could do it myself. And as you can see here, I'm pretty impressed with how it turned out. I have no crafting skills. I just looked at a few pictures on Pinterest, did a little research, and that's about it. This is a tall centerpiece here, but you can do this with tall or short ones. I cannot fit it like all in the frame, but that is what this one looks like. This particular one I DIY'd for $57, and originally my florist had quoted me starting at $350 per centerpiece. I need 6 of these, so that's a big savings. I think this is a great DIY if you are a party planner, a bride-to-be, even for like house decor or just like birthday parties or something if you want to spruce things up. I'm going to show you exactly how I did this, all the supplies that I used, and yeah, let's get started. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. I am going to be posting a bunch of wedding videos, DIYs, and much more, so make sure you stay tuned for those. So first things first, to get started is you will need flowers. I suggest picking colors that are on a more natural tone if you do want it to look realistic. When this is like high up on the table, hopefully no one will know it's fake flowers, but if you are doing like a purple or a blue, like you could definitely incorporate other colors, but if you do want it to look realistic, I suggest sticking with neutral tones. So I went with these ivory ones, as well as you can see like a little hint of pink in here. These are from Hobby Lobby, but you can pick up flowers really anywhere. I do suggest going in store just so you can see them, look at them, touch them. Some of them look way more realistic than others, but these ones were $9.99 for each piece. However, Hobby Lobby always has sales, so this was 50% off, so this was $5 each, and I did use 5 of them for this, for one ball, so basically $25 on flowers right there. And essentially what I did was cut each of these off. Like each of these has some wire in it. I pushed up the, what do you call these, leaves here, and then cut it down below so that you have a little stem on it. And then here's what that looks like all cut up like that. I'll insert some footage of me working on this since I have been working on it over the course of a little bit. But I think that the leaves look really great. If you don't want leaves, you don't have to have them, but you can see they're just in here. But yeah, you can kind of like move and play around with these things. They do just kind of pop on and off. So the first thing is to cut everything off. So I cut the heads off of all the flowers first and then had them all, I had like an old shipping box that I put them in so that I was ready to go. You're also going to need some type of floral foam or styrofoam. This is a 7.6 inch ball. This is another one where I suggest going and seeing the size in person. I originally had bought a smaller one, tested it out, and decided it wasn't really big enough and giving me like the extravagant look that I wanted, so I went back and purchased the bigger ones. These are fairly cheap. It's literally just styrofoam. You can find them at most places. I'm sure Amazon has them. And yeah, one of these for each one. This glue will absolutely be your best friend. Make sure you get the clear one. You probably won't see it, so if you do get white or black, it's not a big deal, but I think the clear one is the best. This was only $3.99. You get this huge thing of glue, and I was really just using like a little bit at a time. It takes 24 hours to dry down, so keep that in mind if you are trying to do this like in a rush. Lastly, you need your little flower stand. These I actually found such a good deal on at Home Depot. So Home Depot was selling, let's see if I like back it up. Home Depot was selling 2 of these like as a set for $40. So each one of these was only 20 bucks. It's really, really hard to find ones that are any cheaper than that. So Home Depot is a great place to start. I will pop up the website listing if it's still available in case you want this exact one. And basically, this is kind of like a whole separate piece. You can see here, this is the styrofoam underneath of where it's gonna sit on this, but this basically just came in a few different pieces and you like screw it all together. But I feel like I'm like But here's what the stand looks like. You could do this again with tall, with short, whatever you want, any type of stand. And then you basically just stick this guy on top. I will probably glue it down beforehand, but for now I'm just like making sure that I like how all of them look before I like give the final okay. After you do all the prep work, having all your supplies, your flowers cut, this ball probably took me like an hour to make. I just sat there and watched TV while I was making it, so that's how long it took me. It could take you longer or shorter depending on like how specific you want to be, and there's really no rhyme or reason to where I placed things. You could always do like some type of pattern, but I just went kind of like chaotic and did it so that I thought it would be natural looking. The one thing I will say if you are doing a tall one is to put this at a height where you would be sitting at the table. So like put it on your table or your countertop and like imagine that it's up there high. So I did that so that I was looking at it and so that I could make sure like underneath that you didn't see any styrofoam or anything weird, because I feel like that is definitely a dead giveaway that something is like DIY'd or fake. So definitely look at it from all angles, including the top, even though nobody is really looking at the top. I swapped out the done one for one that I'm currently working on. As you can see, I am somewhat finished this one. I just have a few extras to put in that I'll show you guys. And basically I started at the bottom, so I did the whole bottom row. So you can see all around we have one base layer of bottom flowers, and I was putting them in at an angle where I could see. So we have that whole bottom row, and then I just started on the top. I was just like standing while I was doing it, and then I'm gonna go in and do this part right here. All right, so as I mentioned, I'm not really doing this in any type of rhyme or reason. I have this hole here that I started at the bottom, then I went to the top, and I kind of made my way into the middle. So I have my flower here and I have a short stem on it. I originally started with longer stems, but it's really just makes it difficult to put all the way in. And what I did on my first one was place each one, but like place it in first. So you kind of have to like really get it in there. And I would place it in, make sure I liked it, and then use the glue. So now that I am kind of a pro to say, I just go in with the glue, but what I'm gonna do is take my glue. You can see I have used a lot of this, and I'm gonna put a tiny, tiny dot. You probably honestly do not need to do glue, but I feel much better knowing that everything is glued in place, especially if you're gonna be moving around with things. Like we have to get this to the venue and drop it off. So I put the glue, then I go back into that original hole and push it in pretty much as far as it can go, and then it is all set like that. You can see on the side here I put it in basically until that like stem part at the bottom, which once you have all the flowers in, you're not gonna be able to see it at all. I'm gonna show you a few more and then probably speed this up and show you at the end since it is really just repetitive. So a dot of glue, you kind of gotta hold the back of the ball and then push it all the way in. Everything is wire, so it's really easy to manipulate. I also like pull some of the leaves up and then try to drop some in between. This way everything looks really, really full and luscious. I think a benefit of using faux flowers is that they are much more inexpensive, so you can really go all out. And this is also something that I am probably going to pass on to another bride. I'm part of a bunch of Facebook groups that are like local brides. I live in Philly, so there's like a Philly bride group, and basically brides just kind of pass things off to one another. They sell things, they give things away. So definitely these stands are something that I will probably be passing on to the next person. I think that's a great place to look if you are also looking for any type of stand or vase. It's a great place to start. It definitely gets tricky once you get to a spot where you have a lot of flowers. So I'm trying to fill in this little spot here, and you kind of just have to pull all the leaves up and maneuver your way inside. Just know that it'll be worth it because it's just gonna look so much more full and rich looking. A little bit of this glue also goes a really long way. So I'm just doing a tiny dab before I stick in the flower. Okay, so here you can see this side is pretty much done, but I don't really love how this hole is here, so I'm just gonna go in and fill in this hole. One thing I did was make sure that I like went 360 all around the centerpiece when I was checking everything to make sure I liked how everything looked and that everything was nice and full and I didn't see any styrofoam peeking through. So I probably finished it, then went back to it, and then finished it once again a few times the first time I was doing it. You can also play around with the flowers once they're on here. So like some of these leaves are hiding. So I could kind of just decide I want to pull some of these out or maybe like open up some of these flowers that are a little more closed. Okay, so that's how I did this DIY. One other thing that I'll show you guys is I did originally buy some greenery like this that I had cut off, and I was planning on putting them kind of like, I'm gonna lose this, it's tilting. I kind of placed them in like that so that they would be like sticking out a little bit. We wound up not liking it. We felt like it didn't look as realistic as just the flowers, so we went with the floral look, and now I have all of these that I don't know what I'm gonna do with. So I will say I probably took like 3 or 4 trips back to the craft store to pick things out, put things back. So definitely start out small. Like I would start and make one and keep track of what flowers you're using, like the tags or anything. This way you can always buy more if you need it, but you're not stuck like I am with stuff that you don't want. We also had some smaller stems like this that we were maybe gonna place going down, so you can be really creative with it. It doesn't have to be roses, it could be any flower that you want, whatever matches your theme. We're kind of just doing like white, gold, and like some purple and green, so we kept it pretty neutral with the centerpieces. And that is how I did my DIY centerpieces for my wedding and saved pretty much $300 per centerpiece, which is going to wind up being a big savings. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any other questions, drop them in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!